Hello, welcome to the second devlog for our game Wild Ice. My name is Andrew Farrell. I'm the co-creator of it. I'm also the co-creator of a game called Path of Giants. We're the same team and we're back now making this new game come to life, Wild Ice. To find out more information about the general ideas of the game, you're going to want to jump back a video where we do more of an introduction of things. Moving right along to this devlog itself, we are just starting the process of adding in the tower defense pieces, and that of course starts with what you're defending. We always wanted the world of Wild Ice to be harsh and cold, and that you would need fire to stay warm. We're taking that idea and cranking it to 11 by introducing furnaces around the map. What happens is when you come up to them, you turn them on, and it will provide warmth to the area, and that warmth will actually grow as time goes on. But you're calling forth the waves and waves of frost zombies that we're calling frosties in this game. The first thing we have to deal with is how we're going to spawn enemies now. We have a system that's working for the survival portions of the game, and we're going to leave that alone. But now I want to move on to the tower defense portions. In the back here, we have a tower defense wave, and they're tucked away in this little icy waterfall. That's the only spawner we have right now. I'm going to duplicate that, toss it somewhere else. Sure, they can spawn in the upper regions of the waterfall. And then give a whole bunch of actions to what's going to happen in this period. We're going to add a runner, an exploder, a runner, an exploder. You get the idea. I have the game loaded up. Why don't you just join me and see it working for the first time? Bam! Activated the furnace. So this is a little period of time where you could lay down your traps. Obviously in the real game, we'll give you a lot more time to do that. And now let's head over to the waterfall. So enemies should start spawning here. Oh, yep, there we go. Now, these guys don't follow any set path. They're just trying to get there as fast as they can. So they're ignoring this nicely built skating path. Kind of feels wrong not to shoot pucks at them. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Get out of here, don't you dare. Okay, we got there in time. But now I wanna make sure everything's working properly. So let's see if all the tower defense elements are working. Yeah, takes 1 health off. All right, so now the furnace has 48 lives out of 50 for it to keep going. Oh, that's so cool. Get out of my house. Ah, I missed. All right, so period's over. It's a time where you can start repairing your defenses. Okay, period 2 starting up. We should start seeing enemies spawn below and over there. Okay, there we go. Ah, here he comes. I love those exploder guys. Oh, it looks like the runner found a way down. Let's see which path he's gonna take. That's pretty cool. That's an opportunity to place some traps. All the way down here. I love it. So I think enemies are spawning properly. They're taking interesting paths to get to the furnace, and their final goal of basically destroying the furnace to make the world a little bit cooler is working pretty well. I'm happy with it. But what is really unclear to the player is where are they spawning from and what path are they going to take? Because I need to know where to lay my defenses, where to spend all of these resources I've gathered. So I've come up with a solution which is working pretty good for now. There are little preview runners. These are just simple AI that follow the same path that the regular enemies are going to take to get to that final goal. I've also turned the spawners into a point of interest. What this does is while the spawners are active, it will show a little on-screen icon that says, hey, this is where enemies are spawning from now. It can also add it to, say, a compass if we add that, or a mini map, or those sorts of things. The next big issue for us to tackle is the UI. In this footage, you can see that the current version of the UI is designed for a survival-based game. It's got slots and you can throw food and drinks and items onto it, but for us that wasn't really working with our vision going forward. We really wanted to simplify and minimize the on-screen elements. It's all mapped to the D-pad, which makes life a little bit easier, so you just press up to get into trap mode. There we go, we're using hockey stick. And then you're chopping trees and whatnot. And if you want to go to fisticuffs, you press down on the D-pad, you're ready to fight. The next massive thing for us to design and implement are the traps. Traps are integral to all tower defense games. Ours is no different. But what is different is how you go about making them. You actually have to go through the open world and loot buildings for parts. You need to chop down trees to collect your wood, so that way you can make the traps for the tower defense portions of the game. You can actually come up to traps and dismantle them, so that seems to be working pretty good. We can change our traps. This is kind of a work in progress right now. It gives you a preview of the resources needed to make the traps. I might put a few more traps so that you can select between 6 traps, say. So you can rotate your traps around, place them down. I could add a few more. If you're really OCD, it might annoy you that you can't put them in a straight line, but that's because we're building on hex grids. Hex grids allows us to place traps more organically. We just ran into our next little bit of a roadblock, which is that we both caught COVID. So if you hear a change in my voice for the next little bit of the video, that's basically what happened. We're recovering fine. It's just still a little gravelly and that sort of thing. So let's go through our list here. We've got traps, we've got enemies that spawn in spawners that run towards the furnace. We preview those paths, and I think all of that's working really good. But while we've been recovering, we've been busy. So we wanted to come up with a lot more of the visuals that are going to accompany all of the stuff that we've been doing. Hannah's been working on a model for the furnace, which looks really cool. It's got a lot of hockey flavor to it. And I've been hard at work defining the area of play. So when you turn on that furnace, there's going to be a bubble that's basically a heat dome, and it's going to grow per period. So in the first period, it's relatively small. Then it's going to get a bit bigger, and so on and so forth. What that does is it allows for new pathways for enemies to find to the furnace, and it's going to open up new spots for you to place your traps. Basically, a trap placed anywhere in the world is vulnerable to parasitic ice. So once you place it, they're only going to survive for maybe 20-30 seconds. But when you turn on a furnace, it's actually warming that area. It's making that parasitic ice effect go away. This will basically make sure that nobody's cheesing the system. So placing like 100 traps and then turning on the furnace, that's not really going to work for you, because those traps won't exist by the time you get to the furnace and turn it on. I think we're coming up to a great point to call this devlog finished. But before I do that, I wanted to jump into the game one more time to see the sum of all these parts working together nicely. All right, so it's difficulty 1. I'm going to deal with some runners and exploders. Yeah, let's start it up. Oh yeah, there's that heat warming effect I talked about. And now I have some time to prepare my defenses. If you notice, the UI has changed. It's ever evolving. So let's go find out where these guys are coming from. Okay, there's the first spawn location. Hannah's been busy reworking the level to be better oriented for our tower defense. I'm gonna prep my defenses up. A couple of spike traps, maybe I'll put a sticky trap down. And before I jump into this, I briefly talked about traps not existing for too long outside of the furnace zone. So if I were to place, hold on, I'll dismantle that trap, put it over here. You'll see that the health slowly chunks away. Actually, I'll come up to it so you can see. It's got a health bar, and the model starts to disintegrate. And we're gonna make that more visually appealing and the breakdown effects to be really cool, but there you go. So that's what happens when you place it outside. You can see that the traps are placed inside the zone, totally fine. They're not breaking. Okay, let's unleash the horde. All right, period starting in 3, 2, 1. Spawner opens, we got a runner already. Okay. Got him. Oh yeah, those rubber pucks, they're deadly. Okay, we got a few runners going to the furnace. I might speed ahead time so you can see what happens when they get to the furnace. The other thing that I added while having COVID and didn't document is that we're doing waves in the period. So we felt like when we got to period 3, you'd just deal with one wave and then the period's over. So the area grew to this big size, which was really cool. And now you get this giant playing field and it's over. So the waves allow for the ring to grow, and now you get to play with that space a lot more. All right, I think all those parts are working really well together. They're not without issues, so if you want to see us resolve those, please follow along on this video series as we continue to develop Wild Ice. If you can give us a like or subscribe on YouTube, that would go a long way. If you want, you can hit the bell icon to get notifications when new videos drop. And lastly, if you can wishlist Wild Ice on Steam, that goes a long way to helping us on our journey. Cheers!